I only ever wanted to play for New Zealand. There were other countries, but I only ever wanted to play for the country that I was born in. Once you've played for the Fern, no one can ever take that away. You're part of a family forever. Family for me is everything. It will always be my favourite team I've ever played for and the biggest achievement.
The shot, Olivia Chance, and it's in! 1-0 New Zealand!
This is a lovely pass by Olivia Chance. And now Olivia Chance is through. Can New Zealand score here? Yes, they can! 1-0.
I think it is really important, especially at a young age, is to have someone fighting in your corner. So all those volunteer coaches that do such a good job, I don't think they understand really until, someone like maybe me has made it to professional and they go, oh, she still actually remembers like what I did for her. Gary McLaughlin over at Blue Rovers, like he was massive for me. He did believe in me, let me play with the boys, even though the boys' parents maybe weren't too happy about it because why is a girl playing? They were like, no, you can play with the boys. You can do it. Don't worry about it. Tackle them. You can beat them. And I think coaches like that is how we get to where we are today. Having someone in your corner always pushing you to go, no, you can do it. There's heaps of other coaches that I'm sure that I've missed that would be like, excuse me, Liv, but an important part of the journey, especially in New Zealand, where these volunteer coaches actually do have a massive impact on players. And now I got to play for New Zealand and have played in Celtic all because, someone back then believed in me. Going back to when I was 5 years old, my sister, she was 9 and she was starting to play football with her friends. Therefore, I wanted to play just because my sister did. I think I probably just wanted to annoy her and do it better than her. She is definitely, her and my mum are big reasons why I'm here today. Our mum did a lot of work for us, especially when we were younger. The best years were when I was at Tauranga Girls and so was she, and I was year 9 and she was year 13 and it was the first time we got to play in the same team. And that was great for Mum because that meant that she could go to both our games instead of having to go to one and then not the other. My mum's always been my constant in my life. She's really pushed me to achieve my goals, always been super hard on us, but she's really been there through everything. We've always had a really good relationship and the bond is so strong because at the time when we were young and she was a single parent, it was just me, my sister and my mum, and I talk to them every day, even though I'm in Scotland and they're here. We talk as much as possible, and obviously my stepfather is a massive facilitator in getting to where I am today because he provided the support with my mum, making sure I got to the games and just being around was massive for me and a really good, calming influence that I needed in my life. And he played football, which I think was good for me. He was a goalkeeper though, so I could shoot at him, but I think that's all he provided me. And obviously my biological father, Douglas, has recently been coming into games and he's always been involved. And obviously I can't forget my fiance, he's been massive for me. He's in football as a strength and conditioning coach, so we don't always see eye to eye on things, but yeah, Rob's been always by my side. And my sister now and her husband have had 2 daughters and they're growing up, and I feel like at times that I'm missing it. They often FaceTime me and they're like, oh, why can't we go to your house? And that makes me sad, and I wish I could be involved in their life more. But then when we come home and they walk out with me in Christchurch, that's like a memory that they'll hopefully never forget. I think, family for me is everything, and scoring in Christchurch with my family there was a special moment. I think I could have retired after that game because I think that's everything that I've ever dreamed of is to play at home and to score a goal and to have my family around me. And as long as they're safe, happy and healthy, that's the main thing for me. And football's just a plus and a way for us to really stay together as a family. I finished school and I had an opportunity to go to America, and that opportunity might have hampered my amount of play in the Football Ferns, but it was an opportunity that I really felt was the best step for me to be a better footballer. I got an education, got a degree in finance, and I spent 4 years in Florida, which is like summer all year round, so you can't complain. And I loved it, and it was a great experience for me. I grew up quick. I'm 18 in a different country. Mum's not so close to me anymore. I think that is important for you, for your growth and stepping out of your comfort zone. I had always dreamed of playing in England. It was something that I grew up watching as a kid, the Premier League, and when I graduated, that was the first place I always wanted to go. Yeah, my fiance, Rob, he was already over at Man City, and I got the opportunity to trial at Everton. They signed me, and I spent 2.5 seasons at Everton, and that was a great experience and something where I achieved, my goals and my dreams. And unfortunately, in the last season, I tore my ACL, and that was probably like my biggest career injury that I've had to date. So I think that was quite difficult, especially so close to a World Cup. But fortunately, Everton's male physio and rehab specialist did my rehab to get me back in time for the World Cup. My first 90 was a week before the World Cup. Tom Samani showed a lot of confidence in me to play me those 3 games at the 2019 World Cup. After COVID had hit and everything was quite all over the place, and I'd made the decision at the time to move back to Brisbane Roar because there wasn't much football in England, and I'd kind of felt I was in a bit of a rut and I needed something new, and it was great. I loved it. I really enjoyed my time there, and I think that was like the perfect thing for me at that time. And we were able to do the Olympics, which had always been a dream of mine and something that for years I hadn't been able to reach. It was a great experience and another thing for my family to really treasure. And yeah, the experience was different. We weren't able to have fans and things like that. It was unique and probably not a complete experience of what we wanted, but it was still great to be there. Then I have landed in Scotland, currently with Celtic, and it's a massive club in Scotland. I think it's nice to be in a football-mad country. I think, they take football very seriously, and it's good to see, the difference, and the rivalry is quite intense, and it's something that you have to get used to. We won 2 cups last season, and some of those will be some of my best highlights of my career, especially. Probably my favourite game for them is the cup final, when we were down to 10 players for about 90 minutes of the match, and we were still able to win it in extra time. So that's definitely a memory that I'll hold close to my heart forever. Vic and I are very good friends, and no rivalry will change that. We can't maybe be so friendly on game days. We have to wait till talking till maybe after the match. Yeah, I think they did have a bit of a laugh that, I was the sole Kiwi over in Scotland last season, and now there's 4 of us over there actually. So it's growing over there Kiwi-wise, so I'm quite happy with that. Good recruiting. It was an amazing experience, and I loved the players that, were part of that group. And then soon after that, I was called into the Ferns by John Herdman, and he gave me my debut in 2011, which is so long ago now. Yeah, it was intimidating. I think I was 18 at the time, and we were going to Cyprus, and I was definitely very young compared to a lot of the group that were there. Yeah, it was a hard camp, and it was a hard first couple of years in the squad, and I'm really happy that I'm back into the squad a few years later after that experience, and a lot has changed, and I think I'm a big driver on. We have a competitive environment, but I also want us and our players to feel comfortable and welcomed, and that's the main thing for me, that we can still be the best versions of ourselves, but we want every person on this team to be a good person and treat people well. It's important in the team to have connectors, people that can connect with nearly every single person on the team and find something, where they do feel comfortable with you, or if you're able to settle a younger player quicker, you're going to get the best out of them. So I think those came quite natural to, players like Stoddy and myself. And it's really now trying to progress my leadership skills on, being louder now in times where I'm always loud anyway, but, when it comes to the talking and making sure it's constant and consistent. So yeah, there's always space for me, leadership-wise, to improve. I didn't actually believe it, to be honest. I think even every day when I used to drive past Waikato Stadium when we would go to training at Claudelands, I always saw it as just the Chiefs Stadium. The fact that we get to play in it and it's an opportunity for, Hamilton, for the kids to see us play football in it, I think is an amazing opportunity, and that's a special moment, probably more so for my family than myself. I would say I feel privileged for Yitka to give me the opportunity to wear the armband, and I think my family did too. But yeah, it was a really nice moment, so I have to give thanks to Yitka for that. I've got a few tattoos that mean a lot to me in terms of family members. So I've got Rob's heartbeat that is on my wrist. I've got a crown for my nan, who passed away nearly a year ago. She was the queen of our family. She would always come over every summer when we were young and help my mum. She's a big part of my life. I've got her handwriting on my ankle that says "Love you," and then I've got my mum's heartbeat and an anchor because she keeps me grounded. So my celebrations are usually to do with my family members. So either I'm kissing the heartbeat or I do a heart to the stand, because for once my family were all in the stands in Christchurch. So it's usually something like that, if I remember, because sometimes when you're in the moment, you don't. And then your family goes, "Why didn't you do anything for me?" And it's like, "Oh, sorry, we scored and we were thinking about other things." That's what I try to do, just a little gesture to say that I'm thinking of them in those moments. She wouldn't listen. I was a very determined person when I was young, and it was like my way or the highway. It would be hard to get through to her, but I think I would just say enjoy it and understand that not every coach is going to think you're good enough, and not every teammate is going to be your best friend, but that doesn't mean that you're not a good player and that you won't make it far. It's just about perseverance, and don't just think about, the end goal. Like, enjoy the journey, and that's cliche, but when you retire, it's like you need to think of, especially for me, how much did I enjoy Everton? How much did I enjoy Celtic? It's all those little memories that you start thinking about. So for a 10-year-old, whoever's out there watching, it's about just keep battling, and if you really want to get somewhere, like, don't let someone else tell you that you can't do it, especially a coach, because sometimes they can be wrong.